Hello everyone, welcome back to another book and bake. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. Book and bake is basically just where we bake a baked good while we talk about a book. I'm very excited about the book that we're going to be talking about today. I've been dying to dive just a little bit deeper than I already have, like the other 3 times that I've talked about this book on my channel. It's fine. Just a little bit more and just like emphasizing how much I really enjoyed this book, and I just thought it'd be so fun to incorporate it into a book and bake because a lot of food is talked about in this book in particular. And if you haven't seen the title by now, which I'm sure you already have, but if you haven't, today we're going to be talking about The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. There's a lot of talk of food and the love of food and just the experiences that surround food in everyday life events and stuff like that. So I figured what better way to kick off another book and bake video than to do it with this book. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have already read this. It's very popular. It was really big on BookTok at one point, but I've just recently read it and it made me very inspired to make excuse me? Come again? It inspired me to want to make the baked good that we're going to be making today. That is the book that we're going to be talking about, and I just cannot wait to give y'all the full in-depth, spoiler-free little review and just chit-chat about this book while I bake a baked good. So we are going to be making a lemon cream pie. Let me show you the picture that I'm going off of here. This is a recipe from celebratingsweets.com. It's their lemon cream pie with graham cracker crust. I was very close to doing a sourdough crust because I've been in my sourdough era recently, but we all love graham cracker. And when I think of a lemon pie, I'm going graham cracker, not sourdough. You feel me? You feel me? I don't know. I feel like that just makes sense in my blonde brain. We are gonna go ahead and dive on in, start making the crust of the pie first, and we're gonna start talking about the book. So let's do it. Okay, so to break down the crust ingredients, we're gonna need 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs, 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. I will put the recipe down in the description box or the link to it so you guys can find the full recipe there. If you want to look at the weighted information as well, if you bake or cook with grams, which I like to do a lot of the time, it tends to be easier. And that's actually how I measured out my graham cracker crumbs. I went ahead and prepped this because I just know y'all do not want to see me beating a graham cracker with a wooden dowel, okay? So I went ahead and I weighed out 145 grams of graham cracker crumbs. Then we're gonna go ahead and melt our unsalted butter, mix that in there with our sugar. We'll need to preheat the oven as well at 350 degrees, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, so 5 tablespoons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just love that most butter sticks make it really user-friendly. I think that's just so convenient. Who has time to be measuring out 5 tablespoons of melted butter? Not me. Okay. And yes, I did wash my hands before starting this video. Don't come at me and don't be nasty. Go wash your hands before you make this, okay? I'm gonna melt this butter real quick. Okay, so to start off with kind of just the synopsis of The 7-Year Slip, we have Clementine, who has just inherited her aunt's apartment, who has very suddenly passed away. She was very, very close with her aunt, so this really shook her world up. She kind of just didn't know where she fell in life after the death of her aunt and basically her best friend. So she inherits her aunt's apartment. As she's moving into the apartment, she stumbles across a random man just chilling up in the apartment. She's like, what the, who are you? What are you doing here? I'm scared. You need to get out. Like, freaks out. Hello? I would too. It's a man. I wouldn't be as like freaked out if it was a woman. I don't think. I don't know. That's like my womanly brain. I would just be like, oh, girl, I think you're in the wrong spot. I think you're in the wrong apartment. This is mine, not yours. Yeah, that kind of thing. But a man, have it. Bye. See ya. You do your thing. I'm out. I'm going. right, we have our melted butter here. But basically she stumbles across this man in the apartment. Long story short, he tells her that he's renting the apartment from her aunt. And she's like, that's really weird because my aunt never lined that up and told me about that before her passing. This whole situation. Long story short, they end up talking things out. He explains everything to her. He's like, no, actually, I'm supposed to be here. And ends up figuring out that he is 7 years in the past, which is obviously a complete shock to her. She's like, Clementine also figures out that sometimes when she's at the apartment, she's in her own place in the present time, and other times she is 7 years in the past, which she starts to figure out the more that she enters into the apartment, but it's only whenever she is in the apartment that it is 7 years in the past. There is that dual timeline there, which is really interesting. Not really dual timeline, but just her point of view at different times, either 7 years in the past or in the present time. I'm just gonna mix up this crust real quick. It smells so good. And I will have you know, whenever I was beating the graham crackers in a bag before I started recording, I got graham cracker all over the floor. So if you hear me crunching around, no, you didn't. So as Clementine has these experiences with, I think you pronounce his name Ewan. It might be Iwan. I think it's Ewan. As she has these apartment experiences with him, obviously they sort of end up catching feelings for each other, which is really sweet and very different. But obviously whenever she isn't in the apartment with him 7 years in the past, she's not with him as her present self in the present time. She's kind of trying to just figure all of that out, not being with him when she's in the present time. It's a whole thing. Like, can y'all imagine like catching feelings for someone that is 7 years in the past while you're stuck in your own present? Does that make sense? Am I making any sense right now? But yeah, I just think that's kind of crazy to think about. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna put these crumbs in here and try to press it all into a crust, and we're gonna bake it. So he ends up giving her the nickname Lemon at one point in the story, very early on, by the way. So that is why we're making lemon pie today. Oh, oven's ready. Oven is ready. Press it up some with this little guy here. Oh my goodness, I feel like this is gonna end up being so good. I cannot wait to try this. The only downside to pies like this is the amount of wait time for it to set in the fridge. That is okay. I'm trying to flatten it out as much as I can just to kind of ensure that it's not gonna fall apart too much. Then again, it is gonna bake for 10 to 12 minutes, so hopefully that will keep it kind of together and bake together. So there we have our crust. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in the oven real quick. All right, I've got that going 10 minutes on the oven time, and then we're gonna go ahead and move into the lemon filling phase. I don't know why I cannot speak today. Okay, in a heavy saucepan, combine sugar and cornstarch, whisk in milk and lemon juice, place the pan over medium-high heat and cook, stirring frequently until thickened and bubbling. Reduce heat to low and cook for 2 more minutes, stirring frequently, remove from the heat. I gotta squeeze these lemons first, so there they are. Let's go ahead and zest these bad boys first, and then we're gonna juice them. Oh my goodness, hello? Oh no, something is stuck in this drawer. Okay, there we go. I'll stick and make grinder. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and zest some of these lemons real quick before I juice them. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this while talking, so I may just do this really quick and then we'll circle back. See, not safe. No one's safe in this kitchen. The smell of lemon, I just love so much. That should be enough zest. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that to the side and slice these and go ahead and juice them. I may end up needing more juice than just these 3 lemons can supply. So if that's the case, then I'll just use a little bit of the lemon juice that I have in the fridge. It's not going to be fresh, but hopefully the fresh juice from these will overpower the fridge juice. 2/3 cup freshly squeezed lemon juice. 2/3 cup. All right. So this requires 156 grams freshly squeezed. So let's try our best to get there. 156 grams. It'd be a lot nicer if I had a juicer. Okay, I'm gonna juice these off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, I have juiced all of my lemons and it perfectly came out to 156 grams. I think I could have even got more than that, just barely more than that, but I was able to measure that out. And then I also went ahead and cubed up some butter for the lemon filling, just to go ahead and have that prepped as well. I'll go ahead and read off the ingredients for the lemon filling. So you're gonna need 1 1/3 cups of granulated sugar, 1/3 cup of cornstarch, 1 1/2 cups whole or 2% milk, 2/3 cup freshly squeezed lemon juice, 4 large egg yolk, 1/4 cup unsalted butter cube, 1 1/2 tablespoons finely grated lemon zest, and 1 cup of full fat sour cream such as Daisy. We're gonna move over to the stove top to get everything thrown into a saucepan and go from there. Also, while I was juicing the lemons, the crust came out so perfect and golden, so I'm so excited about that. And it smells amazing as well. So I'm just gonna plop that here. I did wear my yellow dunks today, just specifically for this video. I thought it would make a little fun add-on, just because. I don't know if I mentioned the reason why I'm making the lemon pie is, one, because Clementine's nickname is Lemon, which is really funny. It's like a funny inside joke between the two of them, and also because it's literally mentioned on the back of the book for one, but it's mentioned as well in the book several times. And specifically, it's a deconstructed lemon pie, which I'm constructing today. I'm not deconstructing anything. So we've got 1 1/3 cups of sugar there, and then we'll need 1/3 cup of cornstarch. Yep, got it everywhere. All right. One of the things that I loved just so much about this book was the magical aspect of it. It is definitely more of like a magical realism type of book, if that's something that you're interested in. It's not really just romance, it's not really fantasy. It's set in a normal setting. So if you are into books kind of like that, then I think you would really enjoy this book. I do consider it a romance, but with that just that magical element there. I'm trying to think of like the tropes that I could give, but I also don't want to like give things away. Just pouring in this lemon juice. And it says to whisk it in, and then we're gonna put it over medium to high heat. Start letting it bubble a little bit, and it's gonna thicken up as well. Go ahead and turn this heat on. The other thing that I really want to emphasize about this book is the side character. Clementine's friends, for one, as well as Iwan's, whatever, as well as his friends, especially. I loved his friend. You fall in love with, even though they're side characters and they're very small parts, you still just fall in love with them, and like you want them to be your friend too. Something that I also think is really cool that Ashley Poston did is she included a character from her other book, The Dead Romantics, which I definitely recommend that you read that as well if you do enjoy that magical realism. I turned on the wrong eye. But if you enjoy that magical realism, I would say The Dead Romantics is more of like a paranormal romance. Question mark. Very, very light on that though. And that one I enjoyed as well. I do think that The 7-Year Slip was better in my opinion, but overall love both of them, and I'm very excited to read a novel love story as well. Gonna let this thicken up a little bit. But yes, so there's a character that is a lot more prevalent in the Dead Romantics that shows up in the 7-Year Slip, which I love. I love when authors do that and throw in characters as very small side characters in their other books. Abby Jimenez is one to do that, which Abby Jimenez is a little bit different because they're more prevalent side characters, but I still loved that so much. Whenever the character popped up, I was like, oh my goodness, that's from the Dead Romantics. And it kicked the book up a notch for sure. I will say too, the fact that the chapters are so short in a 7-Year Slip, chef's kiss. Literally so good. I love a short chapter. I felt like I was flying through the book. I would definitely reread the book. Next time I might listen to it fully. I've heard that the audiobook is actually pretty good. So let me know what you guys think if you have listened to it. There were just such good quotes in this stinking book. Like, while this heats up, let me see if I can find a few that I underlined because it was just too good. Hopefully I thought I underlined, but it may have been some on my Kindle. I may have even taken pictures of some of the lines that I loved, but gosh, I cannot remember to save my life. And I didn't tab anything because I'm a dummy. So this is definitely gonna have to be a reread for me because I do want to go back and annotate a little bit. I think that would be a really fun thing to do. Okay, maybe I didn't underline a single thing. Darn it. I really thought I did. Never mind on that. Disregard. All right, I'm gonna let this thicken up a little bit and start bubbling. Once it does that, we're gonna turn it down to low, let it cook for another 2 minutes or so, and then pull it off of the heat, and then we'll move back over to the counter. Okay, so I've gone ahead and reduced the heat down to low, and I've been letting it cook for about another 2 minutes or so. So I'm gonna remove this from the heat here in just a second, and we're gonna do some fun stuff with the egg yolks, apparently. I've never made a lemon pie before either, so this is definitely a fun experience, and I love lemon. If you've made it this far, go ahead and comment a lemon in the comments so I know who's still hanging out, who's still with me. I think that would be quite fun to see. Okay, I'm gonna pull this off of the heat, and then it says we're gonna add the egg yolks to a bowl. And then we're gonna eyeball scoop in about a cup or so of this warm mixture here and whisk it up a bit before we put it back in. And this is just gonna bring up the temperature of the eggs before we add everything back together. So I'm gonna mix this up really quick just to bring up the temperature of those eggs. Now we're gonna put this mixture back in and bring this all to a boil. Put that on high and pour that mixture back in. Says we're only gonna let it boil for about 1 to 2 minutes before we completely remove it from the heat and add the rest of what goes into the filling. So you'll want to whisk constantly as it's looking very yellow. This is a workout. Speaking of a workout, juicing those lemons was something else. I don't juice many lemons, so that was a lot. I think this is good, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off that eye and remove it from the heat, whisk it up a little bit more. And then this should be where we add in the lemon zest and the butter, but I'm just gonna double check really quick. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and stir in the butter and the lemon zest real quick while it's still warm. And this butter is cubed. I think it just makes it easier to melt a little bit quicker into the mixture and disperse more evenly. And then here is my zest. And you're just gonna mix that until it's combined and then transfer to a bowl to let it cool. It says that'll take about an hour or so. So let's talk star ratings while I mix the rest of this up. I rated it a 4.25 stars. I just love this book so much and I ate it up. Pun intended. I just love how they emphasize the experiences around food and the magical aspect of this book. I love the professions that the characters have as well. Such a cute little aspect to tie into everything. Iwan or Ewan, I don't know why I keep second guessing myself on that. He was very close with his grandfather and learned a lot of things from him when it came to baking and cooking. I definitely feel the same way with really all of my grandparents, but specifically my dad's mom. We used to make recipes and stuff together when I was a kid, so it kind of reminded me of her, and I thought that was really, really cool. I think that every little thing and just the way that Ashley writes is incredible. I've talked about that before. I think it's just, she makes it so easy to read. The word choices she uses, the way that she words things, all of her little phrases thrown in make you just fall so in love with her books and her characters. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and transfer this to a bowl to cool. I'm back from dinner and the mixture so far is completely cooled now. My dog is breathing so heavily. Oh, are you coming to eat now? I'm gonna go ahead and add in the sour cream to the mixture and then go ahead and pour it into the crust, and then it's gonna have to set for 6 hours, which I didn't realize. So I'm gonna have to circle back in the morning and then we'll top it with the whipped topping. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in 238 grams of sour cream. Ew. Perfect. And then we'll just whisk her on up. Whisk her on up. All right, now I'm just gonna transfer the mixture into the crust here and then pop it in the fridge. All right, now it's ready to pop in the fridge. All right, I'm gonna head to bed, but I will check back on it in the morning. Good morning. It is Vol Saturday, first football game of the season. I am about to make the whipped cream for the cream pie topping, and then we're gonna try it out, and I'm so excited. So I've got the recipe pulled up here for the whipped cream, and then we're just gonna top the pie. We just need heavy cream, powdered sugar, and vanilla extract. 240 grams of heavy cream. So get this in here, 240 grams. Three tablespoons of powdered sugar. 1, 2, 3. Half a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. All right, now I'm just gonna put this in my mixer and let it get to mixing until it starts to form soft peaks like we want for a good whipped cream. Perfect. Oh my goodness, I love a good whipped cream. So I'm gonna put this in this little piping bag here. Oh my goodness, this looks so good, you guys. Oh, I'm so excited. It's our gorgeous little lemon pie here. And then I'm just gonna throw some of this whipped cream into this piping bag and we're gonna get to trying it out. Let's see if I can get this piped on here without making an absolute and total mess. So cute. All right, my pie is finally complete and now we can try our constructed lemon pie. Look how cute it is. It looks so good. You can also top it with more lemon zest or pretty lemon garnish, but all I need is the whipped cream on the top. That's all we need for a good yummy little cream pie. I'm gonna cut into this and we're gonna taste test it. I'm so pumped. Where should I cut into this bad boy? I'm just gonna go right here. I have a feeling my crust is gonna fall apart, but as long as it tastes good, that's really all I care about. I just did like the smallest piece of all eternity. Bon appetit, let's try it. I love a good lemon dessert, and this is delicious. It's so creamy. It really makes me want to just immerse back into this book too, with all the lemon references, all the food and dessert references. Oh my gosh. It is on the sour side, I will say. So maybe if you're not a big sour person, tone it down a bit on the lemon juice. But otherwise, this is phenomenal. You can definitely taste the like sour creaminess. Highly recommend you guys try this recipe out, especially if you love a citrus pie. This is delicious. What better way to read this book than to have a yummy lemon cream pie sitting on a plate for you whenever you go to crack this bad boy open. So good. I think if I were to rate this recipe, I would probably give it like a 3.75 out of 5 to go along with the 4.25 stars on the book. And I think that's a great pairing, honestly. If you guys want to make this, definitely check out the recipe that I have linked. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you want to see next when it comes to my book and bakes or my book and cooks. If you want to see something cooking related versus baking related, I am so down to do something like that as well. Let me know if you end up trying this recipe or have read this book down below. I would love to know your thoughts, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!